What's up, everybody? My name is Greg, and it's my friend Terry. Just right off the bat, I just kind of want to read you something out. And Terry, I want to see if you know who the author of this is. And I'll explain a little bit more when I'm done reading. It's a short paragraph. I am you having a different experience from a different perception. Aliens are you having a different reality in a different dimension simultaneously from a different perception. We all are the same being multiplied to have different experience from different realities of perception. Sound familiar?
That was me.
That was you, and still to this day, that's I have a hard time spitting out words sometimes if you can't tell, and that pretty much summed up what I've been trying to say for the last God knows how long, like 20 years. So I just wanted to reach out and just be like, I don't, I still look over some of your stuff, and it sums up, and it's honest to me, it's honest God truth. It's like couldn't be said any better. So I just love that. I want to. That's just cool. What do you? I mean, again, back to thoughts of perception and everything. It's all received like right now. Our perception is this. This is my room. This is my perception right now. But it's how do you perceive it? Like, do you see it as a room like you're sitting in now, or what? I mean, I'm not, you know, but
That's a
just
good question. Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that quote up. I forgot. I didn't really forget I said that. I kind of was in the back burner, I guess. But perception, yeah. Literally everything in our life is perception based on that individual's perception. So your truth is only your truth. It's not my truth, and vice versa, right? My
right.
truth is not your truth. Now, there are standard truths based on universal law and how things work universally, right? Like everything is energy and quantum physics and things of that such. But how you see that or view that or understand that is all perception because we're all on a different level of consciousness. So I don't really put a lot of thought or energy into thinking about how I perceive something. I just let it flow, right? So I let things just come to me and I take it as it comes and understand it as it comes. So you might have had a few times in your life, I know I have, especially in the earlier days of this journey, where you tried so hard to remember something you just forgot. And you're saying it to yourself all day, and you're trying to think about it and think about it and think about it so you wouldn't forget. And then you finally forgot, and then you're trying to think about it and think about it and think about it, and you forgot, and then you just gave up. And then what happened? The next day, you probably remembered it, right? It
Just
just
like that.
happened. As soon as you stop trying and you just let yourself remember, it flows, it comes into you. So I just kind of go with the flow. I don't try to perceive things intentionally. I just let the answers come to me in a natural setting, and that's how I get my answers.
Like
But
perception
that
too,
comes from our subconscious.
from your subconscious. Okay. Now this kind of like almost rolls into the next thing. It seems like you've had your first experience at 3. Am I correct?
Yeah, I didn't know it at the time, but
Yeah,
yes.
looking back, and I've been hearing this a lot lately. How 3 seems to be the magic number. How a lot of kids, a lot of grown adults now say, I've been hearing 3 a lot. Oh, when I was 3, I noticed this. When I was 3, I got saw ghosts, but I thought it was no. When I was 3, keep hearing this letter, or excuse me, this number 3 popping up all over the place, and that kind of made me think. And I was like, well, man, I feel kind of left out. I wish something would have happened to me when I was 3. And then I thought back, and looking back, have you ever thought about you couldn't distinguish whether it was a dream or actual reality? Because I had this matchbox. I had this little police matchbox car, and I was sitting underneath the lamp table, and I go to sleep. And when I wake up the next day, there'd be 2 there. So, I mean, as a 3-year-old, it's kind of hard to, okay, what just happened? You kind of just brush it off in a way because it's like, whoa. So I was like, you know what, I'll try it again. So I did. I put another car there, and boom, the next day there were 2 there. I think I did this one more time, and then I stopped for whatever reason. But and then looking back, it was like, was that a dream? But it was so real, and it happened over 3 different nights in a row. Was it more likely a lucid dream? But then was there actually 2 Matchbox cars there? It just messes with my mind. And then there's another dream I'll get into another time. But what do you think that is?
Like I said, it's going to be based on your perception. I think another quote I can add into there that to elaborate on what the first quote was is that where did you get that knowledge to have or perceive that perception? That's the key. So where did you get that knowledge? Where did you find that knowledge, read that knowledge, see that knowledge to understand that perception? That's the key to perception. Because if you're getting, for instance, if you're getting all your knowledge about politics from CNN or Fox News, your perception is going to be based on what you're told to believe, because you didn't do any research or due diligence on your own. You're being told what the news is. And then on the flip side, if you're just reading on your own, and the internet is powerful nowadays, but if you're just reading things on your own and you're not using outside sources where it's their job to roam around the country and find stories, you might be missing out on something too that you couldn't find in literature, right?
Right.
So the key to perception is, where did you get that knowledge to have the understanding of that perception? That's the key. So based on what I just said, there's multiple reasons why, at least in my experience, what could have been your perception. Could have been a lucid dream, sure. I've had many of them, I'm sure a lot of people have, where we've had a dream that felt real, and then you woke up and you couldn't remember if it really happened or if it was a dream. There's another perception that it could have been the Mandela effect. Are you familiar with that?
I picked it up for maybe about a week and then put it back down. But no, no, I'm gonna say no on this one. But I have heard of it, but not enough to be knowledgeable about it.
So
What
let's
it, what
just
is,
let's just do a brief overview of the Mandela effect,
yeah,
and we don't have to get into too much detail. But you and I are roughly the same age, so maybe you'll remember some of this. So uh, a big one would be Jiffy peanut butter, right? Remember Jiffy?
yeah.
There was Jiffy and Peter Pan, and well, Jiffy never existed. If you try to find it and Google it, you can't find it. Try it right now if you want. Look it
So
up on the internet.
what? You can't find Jiffy peanut butter.
It's called Jif.
Oh, and
And if you try to find the origins of Jiffy peanut butter, it does not exist, and it never was Jiffy. It's always been Jif.
Jif. But everybody calls it Jiffy, and that's the perception of it, right? Is this where you're going down the road, or kind of?
Right.
Sort
So here's another one. As a kid, remember Mr. Rogers?
Sure.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right?
Correct.
But it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, is what he says. But we both remember it. There's two people right there that remember it as the neighborhood.
Right.
But if you YouTube any of the old videos, it says this neighborhood.
That is so weird. I think I just had this debate with my wife like 2 days ago, but I forgot what product it was, but it was something like this, and it was weird. It's like, so that's one's perception. Now, you said something also, your experience is your only truth, right? So you really only get your knowledge from experience, but there has to be, I mean, is there any other source? Because I understand it's two different things, right? Like what your experience is your truth, and then getting your news from someplace else. It's really two different things at this point, isn't it? When I think about it, for you.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's all going to matter where you're at on your journey. Like, as far as consciousness, we're all at a different level of consciousness. Doesn't mean that any of us are any better or worse than the other. We all will end up at the same end game, right? We all have the same goal of enlightenment or consciousness, but some of us may have had more past lives to build up to this point. Some of us, it might be our first time here on Earth. Earth is a school.